You know, in cybersecurity, we pour billions and billions of dollars into firewalls, encryption, all this fancy software to keep our data safe. But what if I told you the single biggest threat isn't some complex line of code? What if it's a built-in feature of the human mind? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and look right into the con artist playbook.
So let's just ask it straight up. What is it? What's the one vulnerability that sneaks past even the most advanced, most expensive digital defenses? Almost every single time.
Yep, it's us. You, me, all of us. The human element. See, cybercriminals figured out a long time ago that it's way, way easier to manipulate a person than it is to crack a complex system. I mean, why bother trying to break down a digital door when you can just convince someone to open it for you and hand over the keys?
All right, so here's the game plan for this explainer. We're going to completely break down their playbook. First, we'll get into how they hack the human brain itself. Then, we'll look at the psychological tricks, the art of manipulation, and the specific tools they use. We'll even find out how they get so much personal information to make their attacks feel real. And then, the most important part, we're going to learn how to build our own defense, the human firewall.
Okay, let's start with the big question. Why? Why do these scams work so well, even on really smart people who feel like they should know better? Well, here's the thing. These attacks aren't designed to challenge your intelligence. They're designed to completely bypass it.
This whole strategy has a name. It's called social engineering. And it really is the art of human hacking. It's not about tech, it's all about deception. And the research is clear. These attacks aren't aimed at our computers, they're aimed directly at our very human nature.
And the way they do it is just fascinating. See, attackers aren't looking for bugs in your software. They're looking for bugs in your thinking. They go after what psychologists call cognitive biases. These are basically the mental shortcuts our brains developed over thousands of years to make quick decisions. You know, trust, fear, curiosity. It's the stuff that helped us survive. And now they turn those very same shortcuts against us.
So how exactly do they flip those switches in our brains? Well, they use a set of psychological triggers that have been tested for centuries by con artists, and they are incredibly effective at making us act before we have a chance to think.
This is literally the con artist's playbook. They might impersonate an authority figure, like the IRS or your company's IT guy, because we're all conditioned to listen to people in charge. Or they'll create a massive sense of urgency and fear, because when we're panicked, our rational brain just shuts down. They build instant trust by name-dropping a coworker or a friend. And of course, there's always the bait, that promise of a free gift card or some prize that's just too tempting to pass up.
So those are the psychological principles. Now, let's look at how they actually put them into practice. Let's open up the Social Engineer's Toolkit and check out the tricks of the trade. First up, the big one, phishing. I'm sure we've all seen these. They're those emails that look like they're from a legit source, your bank, Amazon, maybe even your boss, but they're totally fake, and they're designed to get you to click a bad link and steal your password.
Then you've got vishing, which is just voice phishing. Same exact trick, but it's done over the phone. This is that scary call from someone pretending to be from the IRS or your bank's fraud department. They always sound super serious, and they insist you have to act right now.
And of course, there's smishing, which brings the scam right to your text messages. It's that text you get with a random link saying a package couldn't be delivered or you need to verify a purchase you never made. It feels so immediate because it's right there on your phone.
And finally, we have pretexting. This is like the masterclass of manipulation. This is where an attacker creates a whole fake story, a whole fabricated scenario, often using real details about you to make the lie so believable that it feels almost impossible to question.
So, you might be wondering, how well do these things actually work? Well, one study ran a bunch of simulated attacks to find out. The result? A pretty staggering 42.5% of the people they tested were compromised.
And get this, that huge number was just from phishing emails alone. Phishing was by far the most successful tactic. But just look at the other numbers. Phone scams and social media attacks are not that far behind. It really shows you that the threat is coming at us from all angles.
Okay, so this brings us to a really crucial question. The best scams, the ones that really work, are super personal. They use your name, your job, your friends' names. How in the world do they know so much about you?
You want to know the scary answer? We're the ones who give them all the ammunition. We literally post it online for them every single day. Think about it. Your social media is a complete goldmine for these guys. LinkedIn is basically a public organizational chart of your company. Instagram and Twitter posts, they reveal your personal life, where you go on vacation, who you hang out with, what you're excited about. Every single innocent post, every tag, helps an attacker build an incredibly detailed profile of you.
And all that data gathering leads to this: spear phishing. This is not like your average generic phishing email that gets sent to millions of people. No, a spear phishing attack is like a custom-made weapon. It's designed specifically for you, using all that personal info they found to make it almost impossible to tell that it's a fake.
Okay, so the threat is real, it's personal, and it's pretty scary. But this is not a lost cause, not even close. If the human element is the weak spot, then that means it can also be our strongest line of defense. So, it's time to start building our human firewall. I've loved this way of thinking about it. When you're the tool, you're also the solution. It just perfectly captures this idea that we actually have the power to shut these attacks down. The same brain that can be tricked can also learn to be more vigilant. So what can we actually do? This is all about building better habits. It's a concept that cybersecurity researchers like Dr. Mack Jackson Jr. are always emphasizing, this idea of continuous awareness. First, just be more suspicious. It's okay to question things. Don't let politeness get in the way. Second, always preview links before you click. Just hover your mouse over them and see where they're really trying to take you. Third, independently verify everything. If you get a text from your bank, don't click the link. Just open your banking app yourself. And finally, be way more cautious on social media. What you share is a weapon for them.
When you boil it all down, this is the core message. The tech will fail. Firewalls will have holes. Your ultimate defense, the final and strongest line of defense, is a well-trained suspicious mind that just takes a second to pause and ask, wait a minute, does this feel right?
So, the next time you get an email or a text that's screaming at you to act now, just take a breath. Remember that image of the marionette and ask yourself one simple question. Who is really pulling the strings here?